discrimination and anti-Semitism. We'll have details on the lawsuit.
The government shutdown caused flight cancellations across major airports across the country. Here in OC at John Wayne Airport, TSA agents and air traffic controllers have been working without any pay. I'm Lisa Pressler, and I'll have that story coming up.
And this Veterans Day, one local park here in Orange becomes a living tribute to service and sacrifice. That story plus your weather and sports just ahead.
From Orange, California, live from Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chapman News. I'm Nico Schwegler.
And I'm Angela Hara. Happy Veterans Day from all of us at Chapman News. And thank you for those who have served. Our top story today, the Senate has passed a bill to end the government shutdown. The House could vote on the measure as soon as tomorrow. Economists are warning, though, the 42-day standstill could cost the U.S. economy up to $14 billion with ripple effects still to come. For his part, President Trump says the spending agreement is a victory.
Everything I'm hearing, they haven't changed anything, and we have support from enough Democrats, and we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed.
8 Democratic senators are facing heat for siding with Republicans to reopen the government without a guarantee to fund Affordable Care Act subsidies. The 8 say they voted to approve the spending bill because it secures a vote next month on extending those subsidies and helps federal workers who are not paid during the shutdown.
The government shutdown has impacted airports across the country.
That's right. Our reporter Lisa Pressler joins us live from John Wayne Airport. Lisa, how's it looking inside of that airport right now?
Thanks, Angie and Nico. TSA agents and air traffic controllers have been working without any pay during the government shutdown. As you can see behind me, the TSA lines at John Wayne are on the shorter side, and people are still arriving to check in to their flights. Airlines at 40 major airports have canceled flights. John Wayne is not one of them. Earlier today, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy explains what could happen once the government reopens.
We're at the cusp of hopefully having the government reopened. I'm concerned that we're not going to have on day one controllers come back into the towers right away. I'm asking them to do that. President Trump has asked them to do that. It is their jobs and they will be paid, but it might not be immediate that they come back in.
The government shutdown may be ending soon in a couple of days, but it might take a few days for airports to get back to normal operations. I'm Lisa Pressler, sending it back to you in the studio.
Thanks so much, Lisa, and good to see that those flights will be getting back into the air. In other news, a major midterm race is heating up for the 2026 election in District 40 after Prop 50 passed last week. Republican incumbents Young Kim and Ken Calvert quickly announced they will both seek to represent the new District 40. The 72-year-old Calvert is one of the Inland Empire's longest-serving congressmen, having been in office for 32 years. The new district would include over 50% of his existing area. The Corona native stating, quote, "No one else comes close to my record of service to the new 40th. I've lived here my entire life and already represent the majority of this district in Congress." Meanwhile, the 63-year-old Kim has been a hot name in political circles since her election in 2020. She has already announced a $3 million re-election media campaign slated to start next April. Currently based in Anaheim Hills, the Korean-American has proven to be a leading figure in the California GOP, stating that she is, quote, "one of the most prominent fundraisers in Congress and has a proven record of winning tough primary and general election races, most notably winning a seat in a district Joe Biden won by 10.6% in 2020. California Republicans swiftly sued after Election Day, alleging that Prop 50, quote, violates the 14th and 15th Amendments by unconstitutionally gerrymandering congressional districts to favor one party.
Yeah, and you often hear there is a housing crisis in California, but what exactly does that mean, and how can any new homes be made more affordable?
Our reporter Nathaniel Rudolph is here to walk us through the current state of affordable housing here in Orange County. Nathaniel?
Thank you, Angie and Nico. Across the country, high living costs and rising rents are putting pressure on families. Here in California, the housing crisis is especially severe. According to the Public Policy Institute of California, the state has over 170,000 homeless people, nearly 24% of the nation's total. Here in Orange County, local officials are cracking down on homeless encampments. The Board of Supervisors just approved a new ordinance allowing law enforcement to cite or arrest people camping on county property. This follows a U.S. Supreme Court decision last year that lets cities enforce anti-camping bans even when shelter beds are full. But advocates say arrests aren't a real solution. I talked to Michael Massey, an executive at affordable housing developer Jamboree, and he says the problem can actually be solved.
I have to tell you that there's nothing focuses people like a crisis. And we've been enduring a housing crisis in our state and in our county for most of the past 20 years. We can do this. We can solve this problem. It's not super complicated answers. The answer is building housing and making it appropriate for the people that need it.
So what is affordable housing exactly? It typically means a home priced so that a family spends no more than 30% of its income per month on housing. That threshold is based on the area median income, or AMI, for the region. In Orange County, the median family income for four was around $158,000 a year. Affordable units are aimed at households earning well below that, often 80% of AMI or less. Cesar Covarrubias, the director of the Kennedy Commission, a group who advocates for low-income housing, says many working families are still struggling to find any home they can afford.
It just has to be 30% of the income for rent, right? And so we need a lot more of that housing to be developed. And we see that some of the biggest needs continue to be in what they call low and very low income, which are families making anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000, since those are the hardest targets to meet.
Even affordable apartments for a person, say, making only 50% of the AMI and OC can still cost around $1,500 a month in rent. Meanwhile, market rates prices are far higher. The median home lists for around $1.3 million in Orange County. And more than half of California renters are officially cost-burdened, paying over that 30% of their income towards housing. So is enough affordable housing being built? Under state law, every city and county must plan for its fair share of new housing, including affordable units, or face penalties. Just this fall, a court ordered Huntington Beach to comply with California's housing plan laws after the city resisted new development. However, Huntington Beach is not the only city falling behind, and Cesar says Orange County needs to step up.
We're working specifically on that to ensure that the cities have a housing element, which is a housing plan, that ensures that there are sites, policies, and programs that are going to address the needs in every city, because that's the only way we can address the housing crisis in Orange County, is if all 34 cities plus the county do their share.
And some cities have been doing better. According to the state's mandates for 2029, Anaheim, which built only 396 housing units for low-income families from 2014 to 2021, has already built 651 since 2021. That is 8 years of growth compared to only 3 in this current phase. Other cities, including Costa Mesa, Fountain Valley, and Garden Grove, are also keeping steady or increasing their production. And we can also look here at our current progress. So from the fifth phase, from 2014 to 2020, their target was 9,000 units, and they only met about 5,000, which is only 39% of their goal. Now in this new phase, from 2021 to 2029, their target is much higher at 71,000 affordable housing units, and they're only at 4,000. But we can still see that they're at a higher pace in this new phase. And experts agree there is still a long way to go, but they're not giving up. If you or anyone you know is in need of affordable housing in Orange County, we compiled a list of resources you can take advantage of. Just use the link on your screen. In Orange County, affordable housing projects take time, but the message is clear. Solving homelessness starts with truly affordable housing. Back to you, Angie and Nico.
Thanks so much, Nathaniel. It's the end of an era for a Westminster landmark, but also the start of something new. After 5 decades, the Westminster Mall is permanently closing. Most stores closed last month, but residents reminisced about the mall's impact. Alexis Malatesta, who runs a Westminster Mall fan account, held events like karaoke nights and a candlelight vigil as the mall's final day approached.
If you can be vulnerable enough to love a structure, then maybe that could open you up to the possibility of loving your neighbor. that mall reflects a time when life was simpler for people.
The Westminster City Council approved plans to redevelop the mall into a mixed-use community with new housing and retail space. While some are hopeful for what's next, many say they'll miss what made the mall special: its community, memories, and character.
The city of Tustin is making plans for the site where a fire destroyed a historic military hangar 2 years ago this month. The fire lasted for 24 days and gutted the 17-story high wooden hangar, which was built in the World War II era and was the size of 5 football fields. It was part of the former Tustin Marine Corps Air Station. LA East reported the fire sent toxic smoke and asbestos carrying debris into the air. Some 14,000 nearby Tustin residents were impacted. Now that cleanup is complete, and the Orange County Register reports the city is looking to use the land for a mixed-use development, including apartments, parks, and shopping centers. City officials will be holding a community meeting this fall for public input.
How effective are orders of protection in keeping domestic violence victims safe? That's the question once again being raised after a recent deadly shooting inside a popular La Habra restaurant here in OC. Police say last month a man shot and killed his ex-girlfriend inside a busy Korean restaurant before turning the gun on himself. La Habra police identified the victim as 45-year-old Jacqueline Medrano of Covina. Investigators say she and the shooter had been in a romantic relationship and that the suspect had been arrested in July on domestic violence charges. In September, a judge issued a protective order against the shooter.
You know, if just like any law in California, right? You're not supposed to murder people, but people still do. You're not supposed to steal, but people still do. So it's just telling someone, hey, you can't do this. But ultimately, if that person wants to do it, they can. And, you know, in order to enforce it, it's oftentimes too late, right? You have to wait for the violation to occur. If you have a protective order against someone, you have to wait for the violation to happen. Then you can call the police and the police can come arrest that individual. But by then, such as this situation, it's too late.
Medrano was a nurse and mother who friends say devoted her life to caring for others, her patients, and her children. If you or someone you know needs help, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE.
All right, well, let's check in with our weather. Nico, it's been looking a little gloomy lately, huh?
Indeed it has, Angie. And we toss to our very own Kira Johnson. What's going on out there, Kira?
Thanks, Angie and Nico. Yeah, we're staying warm here, partly cloudy and orange this afternoon. We have highs reaching 77 degrees with lows near a chilly little 58, and we continue to see some widespread cloud coverage as we move throughout the day here. Next, let's take it up on our 5-day Fenestra forecast, and let's see what Orange is expecting this week. Today, like I said, the 77. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to stay mostly cloudy with the mid to low 70s, and by Thursday, we're going to see that marine layer really thicken and see some rain developing. So yes, that rare Southern California umbrella sighting may just be happening. Friday, we're going to see it cool down even more in the mid 60s with some lingering showers. And then by Saturday, the sun is back in full effect. We're going to see mostly sunny at a chilly little 64 degrees, perfect for a brunch walk in the circle without sweating or freezing. We just love that balance here in Orange County. Taking a look at our Orange County today, we see temps really similar. Long Beach at 74 degrees. We see Westminster at 75, as well as Laguna at that 75. Orange and Irvine both sitting at 77 degrees. And our hot spot for our Orange County forecast is going to be Mission Viejo, sitting here at 80 degrees. Anyways, that is it for your local weather updates. Stay tuned for your national and international forecast coming up next. We'll also have local Veterans Day coverage right after the break.
I'm worried about Mom.
Mom? She's fine. These the ones, right, Mom?
Yeah, groundlings.
Sweet potatoes.
Daddy, it's salty.
Some things come with age.
And some don't.
Early detection of Alzheimer's can lead to better care for your loved one. Learn the early warning signs at 10signs.org.
Come on! Go, Diane! Yeah, keep it going! Yeah! Go, honey!
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
Welcome back. A major story developing now. The Pentagon's largest aircraft carrier, along with thousands of U.S. troops, arrived in the Caribbean earlier today. The USS Gerald Ford's arrival is seen as an escalation of the Trump administration's military campaign against Venezuela. The administration says it's targeting drug trafficking and cartels in the region. Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela's president, says the actions are part of a campaign to drive him out of power. Reuters also reports Maduro is planning a guerrilla-style resistance against the U.S. In the last 2 months, the U.S. has launched at least 19 strikes on boats in the region, killing more than 70 people.
And the New York Times is reporting today that the Trump administration plans to allow new oil and gas drilling off the California coast, even though Trump critic and California Governor Gavin Newsom is strongly opposed to it. There has been very limited oil drilling off the California coast for the past several decades after an enormous oil spill near Santa Barbara in 1969, which damaged properties and killed thousands of wildlife. According to the Times, Governor Newsom says the Trump administration proposal for new drilling would be, quote, dead upon arrival.
The U.S. Supreme Court is leaving its landmark same-sex marriage ruling in place, but will take up a separate case involving mail-in ballots. Kim Davis, a county clerk from Kentucky, refused to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couples, citing her religious beliefs. She asked the Supreme Court to reverse a verdict that would have her pay over $100,000 to one couple. The justices rejected her request without comment. Meanwhile, the court will hear a Mississippi case on whether mail-in ballots can be counted after Election Day. A ruling could affect millions of voters and potentially disrupt the 2026 midterms.
Former Trump advisor and one-time Chapman Law School Dean John Eastman has been granted a full presidential pardon. The 65-year-old Eastman helped draft legal strategies to overturn the 2020 election results and was facing federal charges for his role in that effort. The pardon clears those charges but does not affect California state investigations that are still underway. Critics say President Trump's pardon of Eastman undermines accountability, while supporters argue it closes a divisive chapter in American politics. Eastman was disbarred last year, meaning he cannot practice law in California. It is not clear if he will now appeal that decision.
2 recent graduates are suing Chapman, claiming the university failed to protect Jewish students from anti-Semitic bullying during campus protests over the Israel-Hamas war. Our Isabella Sevilla reports.
Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Protests swept through the Chapman campus following the October 7, 2023 attacks on Israel by Hamas. The demonstrations were led by campus group Students for Justice in Palestine. Now, that group and the university are facing allegations of discrimination against Jewish students. According to the complaint, SJP allegedly excluded students with Jewish-sounding names unless they disavowed Israel, and even sent death threats to a Jewish student. One message allegedly read, "I want you and all Zionist trash bags dead." The complaint says Chapman failed to ensure the student's safety after the threats were reported, allowing the sender to remain on campus. The threat was reportedly sent to Talia Malks, an Israeli-American graduate. She and Eli Schechter, a 2024 graduate and former president of Students Supporting Israel, are now suing the university. They are represented by attorney Matthew Manin. He's taken the unusual step of filing the lawsuit based on a federal law that protects people from discrimination in contracts.
It's not an employment statute. It's a contract statute, and 1981B prevents outlaws racial harassment within a contract. My clients had a contract with Chapman University, much like a place of employment. There's a contractual atmosphere, and in a job situation, your contractual atmosphere is the office, and education, your contractual atmospheres at campus.
Chapman University spokesperson Robert Mitchcock says the school is reviewing the filing, adding, quote, "We stand by our strong record of supporting Jewish students, and continuing to do so is a priority and commitment for us, consistent with our mission and founding." Reporting for Chapman News, I'm Isabella Sevilla.
This Veterans Day, the Chapman University's Veterans Club wants to make sure all military-connected students feel supported. The Veterans Resource Center here on campus opened in 2018, and while the number of student veterans has increased, it's still a relatively small community compared to other colleges in the area. The current president of the Chapman Group says student veterans have a strong connection, and today is a day to acknowledge their contribution.
I think for a lot of Veterans Day is like the one day where they feel like, oh wow, proud of their service, or maybe they feel like, oh, I did do that, right? A lot of veterans have moved on from the uniform, but then that's the one day where we feel like back to it and we realize that what we did was really meaningful.
This Veterans Day, the Chapman organization has been hosting several events, including a free trip to an Anaheim Ducks game and a Veterans Day celebration at Chapman Student Center. To learn more about the club and their upcoming events, you can check out their Instagram at Veterans Club CU.
As communities across the country honor our nation's heroes this Veterans Day weekend, one local field in Orange County is paying tribute in a powerful way. Chapman News reporter Tori Shelfo takes us to the Field of Valor at Handy Park.
As Americans honor veterans across the country this weekend, one local field in Orange County is filled with flags and gratitude. Here at the Handy Park in the city of Orange County, more than 1,200 American flags stretch across the grass. Each one honors a veteran or active duty service member. A sea of red, white, and blue known as the Field of Valor.
Field of Valor was set up really basically with three key goals in mind. One of them was to honor our veterans. That's been the first priority we had. That's the main thing we want to do, is make sure our veterans understand that they are loved and they're cared about. The second part was education. We want to bring elementary school, junior high kids out to the field and teach them about the flag. We want to teach them about flag etiquette. And then we raised some money for organizations throughout our community.
The Field of Valor is hosted by the Community Foundation of Orange, a nonprofit that started this display 11 years ago to honor those who served and continue to serve.
One of the things I love the most is talking to the veterans that come out here.
Chairman Gary Remlin shared with us the story of a veteran who recognized what their service was worth after listening to a speaker at the opening event.
I think about that story and it makes me tear up, because the one guy that I ended up talking to, we just sat in a chair right over here. And he said, you know what, Gary, for 50 years I've wondered why we went. And he said, today, finally, I understand what we did over there was so important.
Each flag is sponsored by local residents. Proceeds from flag sponsorships go towards local grants that support veteran services.
When people come here, they come here because they love veterans. And they know that they've done something special to serve our country and keep us free people. As a result, they want to give back.
The tribute cards attached include the name of a veteran, along with their rank, service brand, and sometimes family note or a medal.
It's brought community together. We have people from the neighborhood, we have people from schools, from elementary through high school, we have Cub Scouts, the fire department, the police department.
For many who visit, it's a moment to reflect, remember, and say thank you. I'm Tori Shelfo, reporting for Chapman News.
What a great way to pay tribute. And as we move through the week, we're seeing a big mix of weather. We are seeing everything from snow to a record cold in the south.
That's right, Angie. Some areas are waking up to freezing temperatures in America, while others are still feeling like summer. Kira Johnson joins us now with a look at the national forecast. Kira?
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at our national forecast today. We see starting out on the west coast over here in Seattle, sitting at 54 degrees. We got some partly cloudy skies over there. And then we're going to move down into San Francisco, sitting at 68 degrees. We can see that marine layer, pretty typical for San Francisco. And then we're going to move quickly inland. We see Las Vegas sitting at 79 degrees, as well as Phoenix at a high 87, pardon me. And then we see the hot spot across the country. We see Palm Springs at 92 degrees. It's like I think Southwest is still hanging on to those late season heat. Anyways, moving into the Rockies, we see Denver sitting at partly cloudy skies at a mild 72 degrees. It's going to be a little bit breezy there, but pretty much a comfortable day over there. And then heading Midwest, you'll notice all this blue shading right here. This is the Great Lakes region, and this is going to be the lake snow effect. It's the first significant snow event for a lot of those seasons and communities over there. Anyways, Minneapolis we see sitting at 48 degrees, while Chicago is going to be at a chilly 40 degrees. It's going to be some cloudy skies over there with a brief chance of some light snowfall. Anyways, they've already seen somewhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow in those areas. Sliding east, we see New York with 45 degrees and a mix of sun and clouds over there. Washington, D.C. staying a bit milder at 46 degrees with some partly sunny skies there as well. Next, we're going to move into the southeast where we're looking at that freeze concern. We see Atlanta is sunny but very chilly at 49 degrees. Temperatures there are expected to drop below freezing across parts of Georgia, Alabama, and the Carolinas. It's really going to be part of that first deep cold push of the season. Then we have Miami over here at 69 degrees, which is very cold for Miami, and even overnight it's going to fall into the early 40s and the early tomorrow morning, and that's actually very rare for them early in this season. Anyways, speaking of that freeze, I was scrolling through social media last night and I saw this video out of Notre Dame. This is the campus robots. It's their Grubhub delivery robots still pushing through all that snow out there. They're like little warriors. You can just see they're doing their best trying to deliver all of those late night snacks in what is basically a full snowstorm. Anyways, that Arctic air will not stop campus students from getting their snacks late at night. Okay, now we're going to look into our international weather forecast. This is Super Typhoon Fenghuang, and it has made landfall in the Philippines, bringing destructive winds, flooding, and widespread power outages across multiple provinces. Nearly 1 million people have evacuated from coastal and high-risk areas, while officials are urging communities to remain in shelters as those conditions continue. Okay, as you can see this video behind me, this is the force of the storm. This is an incredible video here. Bridges and infrastructure are swaying violently under these intense winds with heavy rainfall, making travel so dangerous and rescue operations extremely difficult, especially as this storm continues to surge and landslides are still a major concern. Anyways, we will continue to update you guys as this situation progresses, but I'm Kira Johnson, sending it back to you for sports.
It's fall and the temperatures are cooling down, but the heat is turning up in the world of sports. I'm Caroline Chang. Big changes are coming to the Big Apple for the New York Giants. That and more in sports. Stay with us.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
School, it feels like everyone's staring at me and I'm just kind of not really a person.
It just was hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to Chapman News. And Angie, let me throw you a curveball.
Throw me a curveball.
From illegal sports betting, again. 2, competition heating up on the track. The sports drama has been nothing short of intense.
Oh, really? Well, let's hear more about all of that from our sports reporter, Caroline Chang. What do you got for us, Caro?
Thanks, Angie and Nico. The drama is big, and the headlines are even bigger. Starting with some mid-season football commotion, the New York Giants, who have a 2-8 record, fired head coach Brian Daboll. After a close loss to the Chicago Bears on Sunday, team president John Mara and chairman Steve Tisch said it was in our best interest to make a change. Now, when Brian Daboll first joined in 2022, he was named Coach of the Year and led the team to their first postseason win in over a decade. For now, Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, will take over on an interim basis. And there's another major firing to report today. The Dallas Mavericks have dismissed general manager Nico Harrison. He was the manager responsible for the trade of Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers 9 months ago. Now, there are also more allegations of sports gambling and professional athletes cheating. This time, it's Major League Baseball. Cleveland Guardian pitchers Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz have been indicted. Prosecutors say they took bribes to rig pitches for the benefit of sports bettors. The MLB started investigating in July when it was noted that there was unusually high betting activity when the pair pitched. Prosecutors alleged the pitchers worked with two unnamed gamblers from the Dominican Republic and would tell them what types of pitches they would throw in games. For example, Clase is accused of speaking with a bettor minutes before he took to the mound, saying he would throw a pitch slower than 97.75 miles per hour. 4 minutes later, the bettors profited $11,000. Ortiz appeared in court yesterday where he was released. However, he had to surrender his passport and post a $500,000 bond. His attorney told CBS there is no credible evidence against Ortiz. Clase has not yet been arrested. Joseph Nocella Jr., the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, says, quote, "They betrayed America's pastime." And the battle for the F1 World Championship is coming down to the finish line. And the carnival of action certainly came to life this past weekend at the Brazilian GP. Current championship leader Lando Norris carved the road to first, but the weekend was grim for runner-up and teammate Oscar Piastri, who finished P5. But from the bottom, the four-time world champion Max Verstappen took his start in the pit lane after getting out in Q1 for the first time ever. The whole race was full of overtakes and action, but the real star of the show was the one and only Max Verstappen, clawing his way through that grid.
Where does Verstappen come out?
It's been a fairly vulnerable tyre this match, so yeah, do your best.
I'll take the loose.
By the very last lap, he was chasing down Kimi Antonelli, the Italian 19-year-old, but Antonelli held on by 0.3 of a second and made his best ever finish in F1 at P2. Out on top, Lando Norris snatched his first win in Brazil, and the last time someone made a finish from the pit lane to P3 was in 2014 by Lewis Hamilton. The current driver championship standings are Lando at 390 points, followed by Oscar at 366, and then Max at 341. Only 3 more races to go, and it'll be a gamble to know what will happen at the next race in Las Vegas next week. But now, intercepting big time, it's a sport on the rise under Friday Night Lights. And the International Federation of American Football says it's one of the fastest growing youth sports in America. The sport is even being added to the LA 2028 Olympics. I spent time with the Orange Lutheran High School flag football team as they prepared for their showdown against J. Sarah for the CIF final. Check it out.
A girl playing in a boys league, they can't really have as much playing time or can't have as many opportunities as these boys do, and so now as flag football for girls becoming an actual sport, now they just have more opportunities to grow and excel in the sport that they love.
Julia Oberholzer is a senior wide receiver and linebacker on the OLU team. She has seen the team grow since flag football was added as a girls' high school sport in California in 2023. Julia and the other seniors have laid the groundwork for freshmen like wide receiver starter Angelina Dubois, nicknamed Happy, who says she's found so many friends through the sport.
I feel like it's just bringing a whole community together, whether it's in a school, a club, or making friends around the whole nation, even the world.
Last year, the team won its first CIF championship, and head coach Kristen Sherman would love to add another.
To have these younger girls out here that will have the opportunity to be able to play college football and to get free education in some cases to go play college football is pretty amazing.
That's a hard game that's going to happen, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
You You couldn't take your eyes off the field. Neck and neck, both teams fought hard, exchanging points. But in the fourth quarter, Jay Sarah came out on top with freshman quarterback Kate Myers scoring the final touchdown. Olu in the final minute of the game was able to rally back, charging down to the end zone, but ultimately the win went to the Lions 25-20. Despite the loss, the passion and grit shown by the Lancers was undeniable, and they still came away with a silver medal for their 24-3 record. Although their season has come to a close, their love for the sport will not fade.
Best safety in the country.
I love playing flag mostly because of the girls and the coaches. It's just like such a family and a community here, and I love being a part of that.
We start seeing these 4-year-old kids playing flag football now, and I just super excited for the future and where it's going to lead, and to see what it looks like in 10 years. It's the fastest growing sport in the country.
Told me their theme this year was to raise the bar. And while it may not have been the result they wanted, the story they're telling is certainly raising the bar. From the sidelines to making headlines, the future looks bright for the Olu Lancers and for the sport of flag football. To follow the team, check out their Instagram at Olu Flag Football. And the action in sports has been non-stop. But that's all I have for you. My name is Caroline Chang, and we'll be right back after this break.
Good afternoon. I'm Natalie Ross. And I'm Samantha Thomas.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chapman News.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's edition of Chapman News.
Since 2010, Chapman News has been covering weather, entertainment, sports, politics, and news, broadcasting from Dodge College's Marionette Studios.
As the only live newscast in Orange County, our journalists aim to highlight local, statewide, and national communities.
We're here to provide the most accurate, engaging, and relevant news for our community.
Tune in to our nationally recognized and award-winning newscast, Chapman News.
Watch locally on Channel 6 or on our YouTube to stay updated with the latest.
The organization Girls Inc. is all about supporting young girls and encouraging them to be strong, smart, and bold, Angie.
That's right. Girls Inc. chapters across the nation sponsor various events all aimed at setting girls up to be successful adults. Our reporter Maya Golstatarian joins us now to tell us more.
Thank you, Nico and Angie. The Orange County branch hosted its College Bound Luncheon this past weekend, highlighting some of the program's success stories. I had the opportunity to attend the event and see just how impactful Girls Inc. has been.
Many young women find themselves lost when it comes to applying to college, especially if they are the first in their family to do so. Girls Inc.'s College Bound program helps girls learn about which high school classes to take, understand their financial aid options, and even choose a college. This annual luncheon highlights their members' inspiring journeys.
I've been with the program for about 13 years, so that was since I was in kindergarten, so a very, very long time ago. I've been involved. I love Girls Inc. I think it's really helped me grow as a person, as a student, and just in so many ways.
Others that attended the luncheon were once part of Girls Inc. themselves and decided to return to the organization as a mentor.
I really was moved to come back and really give back to Girls Inc. because they gave so much to me and my family. I always say that I think Girls Inc. has allowed me to dream with my eyes wide open. And so for me now as an educator, being in the position that I am, I truly strive to make sure that every girl that walks through our doors and the girls that are yet to come through our doors also get that same support.
The College Bound program is free of charge, allowing girls all around Orange County to have the opportunity to become competitive college applicants. In 2023, 100% of Orange County college-bound seniors were accepted into at least one college.
For many, many reasons, I always advocate for college-bound just because I am a testimony that it does work and girls do go to college and they graduate and they go up to the workforce and they become great women in the career path that they choose.
They don't have to do anything alone in this life, and Girls Inc. is always here for them every step of the way.
Girls Inc. is building a generation of strong and talented women across the U.S. and Canada, proving that with the right support, girls can turn their dreams into reality. Reporting for Chapman News, I'm Maya Golstatarian. Back to you at the desk.
What a fantastic story, Maya, and what a great group as well, connecting all these girls together and uplifting each other. We definitely need more of that in this day and age.
Oh, absolutely. In modern day, it is so important to just uplift, and especially for young women. I love to see things like that, as always, Nico.
Couldn't agree more, Angie. And well, that's all for this week's edition of Chapman News. I'm Nico Schwegler.
And I'm Angela O'Hara. We'll see you next week for our final newscast of the semester.